the Irish guy, and pretty simple this one. Everton are naff. I mean, is that the right word? Naff? No, it sounds like an insult you might hear on the playgrounds of posh private schools in Kensington. I mean, the word naff sounds like a noise a panda might make when it scratches its armpit. But no, honestly, what is this from Everton? All season long, I never truly for 1 second believed that Everton would get relegated. I mean, how could I? When up front, you've got someone who 2 years ago was being offered the chance to join Barcelona for 85 million beans. I'm sorry, but that transfer story. Now, I was like one of these rumors you look back on now with hindsight and think, I'm sorry, what? I mean, it's like looking back on when Manchester City and Pep Guardiola were offering wages of £278,000 a week to Harry Maguire. Yeah, now we all agree that he's just a square-headed wheelie bin, but this actually happened. Pep wanted him. Honestly, it's like telling someone 5 years ago that George Clooney was proposing to that chubby mother of Shameless. Trying to wrap your head around that now, it honestly feels like you've taken a sledgehammer to your brain. Bayonet's trying to close in on 150,000 subscribers as soon as possible. Smash the big fat red button, it would be, you'd be a hero, is what you'd be. Anyway, back into the video. This is my official prediction for how the relegation battle will pan out this season. And I will tell you at the end of the video who I think will go down. But for now, there are so many things wrong with Everton. I don't even know where to start. I mean, let's start with the obvious one. Richarlison is hands down the most overrated footballer in the Premier League. Bar none. I don't get it. I mean, sure, on paper, he looks like he should be a superstar. I mean, the guy's got a Chris Brown haircut. He's mates with Neymar and looks good in their Brazil shirt on Instagram. But no, I won't have this. I remember Jamie Redknapp comparing him to a young Ronaldo when he first arrived in the Premier League 5 years ago. No. Let's have it right. He was scoring 5 goals a season for Watford. That's not a young Ronaldo. No, that's the level of a teenage Ashley Young. But I'm gonna say it, this supposed world-class elite forward linked with all of Europe's top clubs, and he's no better than prime Gabby Agbonlahor when he was pinging in 12 or 13 goals a season for Aston Villa. But because he was probably born in a box on the side of a road in Birmingham and not, in the football homeland of Brazil, then oh no, he didn't have the world's press salivating over his tonsils. If Everton do get relegated, there's more chance of Johnny Depp giving birth to a shoe than there is of this guy sticking around in the Championship. But Everton, do you really think you're going to be making a profit on the £50 million you put in Watford's pockets? No, it'll be a cut price £20 million move, but not to PSG, not to Barcelona, or Inter Milan. No, this guy has a move to Turkey written all over his face. I mean, if the Chinese Super League hadn't imploded like Gwen Stefani's career, then I could have seen this guy swallow his ego and sporting pride to instead go agree to live in a mansion in Beijing. But now, instead, I can see a move to Fenerbahce, replacing Ozil as the club's superstar. Because, I mean, after Shakhtar Donetsk, they're probably the one European club synonymous with rehoming unwanted Brazilians. But Everton are brutal. This is apparently the product of a multi-billion-pound takeover in 2016, losing a relegation scrap against Burnley, listening to Sean Dyche publicly speak about how this set of players don't know how to win a game away from home. Everton have only had one patch of good form this campaign, and that was back at the beginning of the season when everything looked all rosy and nice. Andros Townsend was spanking in wonder goals. Rafa Benitez didn't have to wipe dog poo off his car. I mean, that was back in the summer sunshine. Everton fans, they probably wish they could go back and rewind back to that part of the season. And I thought it was just Will Smith's wife who keeps fantasizing about August. I mean, Frank Lampard is a man who apparently turned down a delicious job offer at Crystal Palace. I mean, good grips, living in London and working with a hungry group of talented children. Honestly, Lampard had the chance to be like Fagin off Oliver Twist. He did not need more evidence that he made the wrong choice when he watched his team lose an FA Cup quarter-final 4-0 at Sutters Park. I mean, that's been like walking down the local dog shelter and wondering which one to pick. I mean, sure, the poodle might have pissed on your rug, but once the Rottweiler bites the head off your cat before burying your baby in the lawn, I think that proves you made the wrong choice. I mean, Michael Olise or Alex Iwobi. But no, instead this man voted with his ego, because Everton are without a doubt the bigger club with the highest ceiling. But here are the managers who have failed at this club. I mean, for all of you, make sure to shout out when I pick a manager who Lampard is a better coach than, alright? Shout out when you find a manager inferior to Lampard, alright? We good? Let's go. Rafa Benitez, Carlo Ancelotti, Marco Silva, Sam Allardyce, Ronald Koeman, and Roberto Martinez. Every single one of those managers is a significantly better all-round coach than newbie Frank Lampard. I mean, we talk about Manchester United having failed to recover from Sir Alex Ferguson leaving the club, but let's be real, Everton never truly got over the loss of David Moyes. They just didn't realise it, to the point where the fans were sneering about the possibility of bringing Moyes back in 2017. I bet you're not sneering now. I mean, this was just Frank Lampard arrogance. He took the job when Everton were 16th in the league, but they were 4 points clear of the relegation zone, and crucially had a game in hand over Newcastle. I mean, if they'd won that game in hand, they'd be 11 points clear of Burnley, right? But no, I'm sorry. Where was the new manager bounce? You've lost 8 out of 11 games against Premier League opposition. You even needed to scrape and squeak a late win over Boreham Wood. I think that's evidence enough that this squad have the self-esteem of a guy who buys his girlfriends off the internet. I mean, Everton gambled. They replaced a shrewd tactician like Benitez with a big name in football for vibes. Relying on the fact that this is a man who has a presence in football because he was such a good football player. But I'm sorry, as a manager, this guy is the modern day Andre Villas-Boas. A young manager dumped by Chelsea a few months before they went and won the Champions League without him. But at least with AVB, he at least won some trophies with Porto. But Lampard's CV was just playoff misery with Derby County. Oh, well done! Steve McLaren was able to do that. So would Everton fans have been happy to appoint AVB this season? Would they balls? They'd sooner tear off their tongue and feed it to the pigeons. I mean, just look at how they ran Vitor Pereira out of town. But what makes this relegation battle so interesting is that Frank Lampard is literally fighting for his career. If Everton do the unthinkable and go down, then he is getting sacked on the bus, replaced by Wayne Rooney, and he's never getting offered a Premier League job again. Everton are a mess. This is a club who got rid of James Rodriguez last September. Oh, apparently you didn't need a former Real Madrid Galactico. Instead, let's agree to pay £40 million to go buy Dele Alli. There is no better example of how nobody believes in Ali any more than the fact that this deal is actually a free transfer, which could cost £40 million based on performances. So basically, that's Tottenham pretty much saying that, yeah, they think that Ali is now a crumpled up Ross Barkley, you know, about as much use as a dead flower bed. But just in case we're wrong, and you do manage to wake him up and find his missing batteries, then then we'll charge you £40 million. But that's probably not going to happen, so yeah, it's a free transfer. I mean, I don't want to speak ill of the dead, but putting Ali on a football pitch is like putting Ali in a boxing ring 10 years ago. Not a good idea, that. 18 months ago, I did a video laughing at West Ham for bringing in a disaster case like Jesse Lingard. And then he morphed into Messi Lingard, proving that I had the brains of scrambled egg. I mean, I did a replica video on Ali this January, and he's done nothing since. At the risk of sounding like a big Brexit lover, get out of the country, Delhi. Move somewhere else where you're free to dress like Orlando Bloom or Pirates of the Caribbean without persecution from the fans. He should be able to go and recharge his batteries in Germany or Spain. You know, like Damari Gray. Instead, you're 25 and can't even limp off the bench for a team 17th in the league. That is actually unheard of. A former Ballon d'Or nominee is now a cheerleader in the relegation battle. But if Everton go down, can you imagine the catastrophe? I mean, this reminds me of when that chaotic Newcastle United went down in 2009 and everyone, literally everyone, laughed until their throats hurt. I'm sorry, Everton fans, but this is reality. Nobody cares if little Burnley slip out the back door, but a big club like you, apparently gunning for the Champions League, you won't hear the end of it for days. The repercussions would be horrific. I mean, you can be damn sure an England #1 like Jordan Pickford will be handing in a transfer request. Yeah, try and hang on to those goalie gloves when Aaron Ramsdale is getting on a plane for Juventus away while you're in a minibus to Preston. Nah, Pickford will surely be getting a summer transfer away to, maybe Southampton in a cut price £10 million deal. I mean, clearly Van de Beek won't make his transfer permanent. He'll instead run back into the arms of Erik ten Hag. And I can imagine Dele Alli will be given away to a team from New York or Qatar. Allen will be sold back to Serie A, maybe to Udinese or Roma. Andre Gomes will get on a plane to go and get a job on Benfica's bench. Damari Gray will finally get his long-awaited move to Bournemouth, a transfer 7 years in the making. And Dominic Calvert-Lewin will probably wind up at Crystal Palace. I mean, he's got the Englishman Teke written all over his face. It is just a mess. But this is my relegation prediction. Everton are not going down, because they're not the only team in this dogfight. There are 7 other clubs. I think we can all agree that both Norwich and Watford are down. I mean, don't be surprised to see these maniacal owners sack Roy Hodgson the first week of May. But to me, the rise of Frank Lampard, the manager, surely it doesn't end before his 44th birthday. In relegation, surely not. be like if Conor McGregor had been knocked up by Josie Aldo. It surely can't end now. It is a tough fixture list for Everton, but they will squeak enough points to crawl into 17th. Burnley will bulldoze their way to safety and snatch a comfy 16th. Newcastle will sleepwalk their way to survival, but here are the two that would worry me. It's a toss-up between Brentford and Leeds. The Pontus Janssen derby. And guess what, lads? That fixture is the final game of the season. Brentford or Leeds? Brentford or Leeds. Both clubs who made me sweat over getting a tattoo. You know what? I'm gonna go for Leeds. I'm changing my mind. I was adamant for months now, even going back to November, that it would be Brentford going down, but no, now, I think Leeds are getting relegated. I mean, it is a fixture list from hell. You've got 7 games left: Watford away, Crystal Palace away, Man City at home, Arsenal away, Chelsea at home, Brighton at home, and then crucially Brentford away. That will be a monster match. Yes, you've had the new manager bounce on a Jesse Marsch, but that usually wears off pretty quickly. Listen, I don't want to see Leeds go down. They're a massive club. I've been wanting you to get promoted since, I don't know, 2010. I've always partly winced when we've seen teams like Huddersfield come up instead, but I don't fully trust Jesse Marsch. And that fixture list, I see you picking up 4 points. You'll get a point at Watford and you'll beat Brighton at home. The end. So having 34 points and the second worst goal difference in the league, because of the superior goal difference, Everton need 9 points from 9 games to stay up, and Burnley need 10. I think they'll both do it. Brentford could realistically go on another massive losing run, but just provided they beat Leeds, then they're staying up as well. 34 points will get you relegated. I'm sorry, but bye-bye Leeds. Anyway, that's what you think. Let me know in the comment section below. Who do you think is going to get relegated? Let me know. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to subscribe. As always, I'll talk to you in a while.